All right, folks, so I'm going to do a video on how I am making my Mittleider watering system. I did one of these videos a long time ago. I'll put a link to that down below, but this is just an updated way that I'm doing it. It's less work, but drilling all these holes is a lot of work. But you are going to need number 57 drill bits. I just want to say at the beginning, a lot of people think I don't have a number 57. I'll just use 1/16 of an inch. That will be too big and you won't have enough pressure to run that system. So you have to go and order or find some number 57 drill bits. This is a pack of 12 that you get on Amazon. I'll put a link down below, but they're not expensive, and you will break a few of them while you're drilling your pipes because they're so, like really tiny. All right, so what I've done here is I've made a little jig. I'm just gonna go by the one mark and turn it 3 times rather than trying to turn it back to get that angle, but that's just a roughly 45-degree angle from where the pencil comes out. So you set that down on there, and this is just, I cut it with the saw to the right width and chipped it out with a screwdriver and drilled a hole in it where the pencil's going to go. And it goes there. And so now we use this to make our mark and then turn it roughly 45 degrees, make another mark, turn it roughly 45 degrees and make a third mark. And that'll give us our 3 marks down the pipe. So I've set it up and clamped it to a 2x6 here. But you can do this on any surface. I just like doing it on a 2x6, and I needed one to reinforce my T-frames with anyway. So I'll show you how this goes. We're just gonna take our pencil, I'll push down on that, and move this down. And we draw in that line. And now, make sure we get it up here far enough. Okay. We're gonna take and we're gonna turn it to roughly 45 degrees there or so. And now we'll do a test mark. That's about right. And now we're just gonna take and mark it again. And then we're gonna take and turn it. So it's roughly 45 degrees again. Clamp it down. Do the test mark. About right. Okay, and now we'll just take and draw another line. And there we have our 3 lines. So now we have our 3 lines. You can see them here. Hopefully what those 3 lines look like. So now we're just going to lay out a tape measure and we're going to measure this. And so or measure out our marks that we're going to put on here. Let me show you. So we'll stretch this all the way down the pipe. Now, here's where I messed up on my last one that I did years ago. I'll put a link to that video. But I started the 4 inches from the edge and said, oh, 4 inches. And you're really supposed to start your 4 inches 2 inches in. So because I'm clamped and it looks kind of weird, it really doesn't draw these lines back. So I just kind of hand draw them in to the 2 inch mark. It doesn't have to be absolutely precise and exact. The closer you can make it, the better though. But now we'll just mark off at 2 inches. So we'll say 2 inches right here. We'll mark all 3 of these lines. And now we'll go 4 inches. So our next one will be at 6 inches. And then we're going to be at 10 inches. Then 14 inches. And so on. So we're just going to do this all the way down the pipe. 14 inches. 18 inches. 22 inches. 26 inches. And we're gonna do this now. See, on this one, if you notice, I kind of got this into my lettering. I should have turned my lettering a little further, that way the lines wouldn't be on the lettering and make it mark a little easier, but it's fine. And so now we're just going to do this to all of the pipes and mark these off every 4 inches with 3 lines. And this is going to tell us what we need to drill our little tiny holes. But by coming in 2 inches to your first mark, which I didn't quite come into, so I should actually be right there. Okay, and then this will tell us like every 4 inches we have to drill 3 holes with a tiny little number 57 drill bit. So it's a lot of work drilling all those holes, but you never have to do it again once you set it up, so it works. All right, I'll go ahead and mark these pipes, and then we'll be back when I'm ready to do the drilling. Okay folks, so I've moved my drill press outside here just so it's easier to get the pipe and slide it through there. I've got it set up with the little tiny number 57 drill bit. This is off to the side a little bit, so we need to just center that up. This is the drill press Mark Fox gave me. It's come in handy a few times I've needed it, and that's really going too far down there, so we'll adjust that down. Not too far. About right there. All right. Now I'm just going to use this drill press to drill out these pipes. I'm using this number 57 drill bit. These are gyros. Let me see if I can get them to focus. Gyros, number 57 drill bits. See, I got them on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below where you can get them. Comes for a pack of 12 for like 10 bucks or something. So now we'll just take our pipe and put it up in here and drill our holes. This may have been easier to do with a regular drill. I don't know. I think it'll be easier when I get to the middle. I'm not balancing all this pipe out there. Those ones on the end are really hard to get to, but we're just going to keep on going. I believe this thing has a laser light. Yeah, this will tell you where it's going to land that drill bit exactly. But now we just have to come through and drill all these holes in all these pipes, and this is the painstaking long part of it, but once I get all these holes drilled, then we'll be ready to continue. I'll be back once I get them all drilled. All right, so I've got all the pipes drilled, just on the marks. They're all drilled and they all have holes. So now I'm ready to start setting this up and building the rest of the system. What I'm going to do is just kind of test lay it out here, put it together, and then we'll take it in the garden and put it in. All right, so our end pipes are going to, I find that works perfect for me. It doesn't really say in the book, but I find like 21 inches is perfect for how I like to space my plants. So we're going to mark this pipe at 21. And then you can get a special PVC cutter. I don't have one of those, so I just use a saw. Now, in one of the end pieces, I'm going to have to put a T in there. So I want to subtract the distance for the T. And see how far that goes down in there. It goes down into about right here. So we'll measure that. It goes down in there about 1 inch. And the total width of this thing is just over 3 inches. So that means we're losing about 1 inch in the middle. So I'm going to make my next one just a little less than 20 inches. Actually, we'll just do 2 10-inch pieces because I'm going to have to cut it later anyway. We'll just do 1/4 of an inch less than 10. Well, about 1/8 of an inch less. So right there. So now I'll cut this out to make sure you can see me. And now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. I wonder, my circular saw might work better for this. That'll work. It's not exactly even on the end, but I don't think it has to be. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna measure another piece to slightly less than 10 off of this. I'll go ahead and cut that. And now that'll go in there. And this one will go in here. And we'll measure that total. And that is almost exactly, it's just slightly over 21 inches. Not enough that I'm going to worry about it. Oh, I just seeded some more, so that's probably exactly on now. Yep, 21 inches. So we have these 2 end pieces of pipe. This one's ever so slightly longer than the other one. That's fine. So now these are going to go on the ends. So I'll take you out here and show you. All right, so I've laid just all the pipe and all the fittings. I have them on. So I just have my little coupler with a joint and a little thing there to hook the hose to. Another one there. I have end caps. And then here in the middle of the pipes, I have the little unions to hook them together. We come down here to this side. We have a 90-degree fitting. Go onto this T. Go on to another 90-degree fitting to feed that back. This just has two 90-degree fittings and a piece of pipe. This end pipe doesn't have any holes drilled in it. And then I have this 10-foot section here. So I'm going to come off of this with the hose and feed this 10-foot section, and that's going to do my onion bed. So I have enough water pressure that I can feed one more 10-foot piece, so that's not a problem. I'll probably just run that bed like 1 minute longer than the others. So yeah, now I'm ready to get this set up in the garden. All right, so I have 21 blocks, so I need 5 per side on those, so that's 20 for my two 20-foot beds. But I'm going to need another 3 of them to do my 10-foot bed. I have 21, so I'm going to need 2 more. So we'll just go ahead and cut these up, and I'll use the opportunity to show you how to do this. Pretty simple. Just, it doesn't have to be an exact size, but about there. These are kind of loopy on the edge, so I want to make this the edge my water pipe sits on and the flat part down towards the garden. So now we make a mark about 1 inch or so. And we'll go right here to right here. About right there. You can see that. Let me put the camera up higher. There, maybe now you can see better what I'm doing. And I'll just kind of transfer these marks roughly over to here. They just need to be about 1 inch. They don't have to be exact. But now we're gonna drill those. Now we're going to take us a couple of nails. We're going to pound them in there. Like so. And then our water pipe's going to sit in here. I like to just kind of take and hit them a little farther apart there, give it a little more room for the water pipe to go in. And these will hold our water pipe up off of the soil bed that way. So there's that. All right, and so now we'll go start setting up our pipes. All right, now we're ready to start sliding this pipe down in here. And when you got existing plants to grow around, you have to be careful that you're not going to destroy any of them. All right, so I'm going to try to put these in here so that this part's aiming down. Okay, that makes them about right. Now we just gotta go and put our wood pieces in. Alright, so that one's pretty much set up. Now I'm ready to do this bed over here. This is going to be a fun one. I have a lot more plants and stuff to work around, so. But we'll get it done. So this is about as good as I'm going to do for this bed, because I've already got the plants planted and they're not quite in the right places, but they are where they are. Pipe's going to be a little beside them. It's the best I could do. Next year I'll put the water pipes down before I plant, so I'll know exactly where to plant the seeds directly under the water pipe. But right now this is good enough. So now what I have to do is make up hose sections to come back to around here where I'm going to put my main timer at. And then I already have a hose section for that one. So I have to make hose sections for the rest of these to feed in. And so I've got some hose stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start making those up. The other thing, this is the problem with not following the Mittleider method directly, is that this kind of comes out directly into this. So I might have to kind of pull this over a little and just, you know, get that hose in there. And I'll probably pull that T-post out for next year. I tried that one year to grow down the middle. Doesn't work well. It doesn't work well. So these T-posts are kind of unnecessary, and now they're in my way for the automatic watering. You just gotta follow the book, folks, and you won't run into these problems. So when you try to be crazy and implement, you're like, oh darn, no, that's not gonna work, you know. So it might actually work better if I just put it slightly over to this side. It won't hit the onions as much. So, yep. Now I just gotta make up the hose sections. Looks like the sun's starting to come out finally. Maybe it'll warm up a little. It's kind of chilly out here today. Alright folks, so I got my hoses all in. So, I just used some old garden hose that I had in the shed. I put some ends on it with some hose clamps. And I hooked it all up over here. So, my main one comes into this Y adapter down here, and it feeds this, and the other end feeds my garden hose. Right, and it feeds that, and then zone A, B, and C. So we have zone A, zone B, and zone C. Now, I'm going to need a fourth zone. Because I really thought that I could just patch off of this one and feed this 10-footer. Nothing came out of the 10-footer. It just had no pressure. I took the hose off and checked, and it just had a little water coming out, but no pressure behind it. So I removed the T, put a coupler in there for now. But I'm going to have to add another zone and run me another garden hose down here. And that will give me the correct, number of zones by adding another single zone, a Y splitter, and doing a bunch more patching. I think I've got some more of these ends for the hose. So I'll just put in another Y splitter, and then we'll just go from that Y splitter on the input to this thing. We'll go here, break out to another one. It'll be a single zone one, and we can set the time on that and have it run separately. So I have to do that, and I have to put the single zone timer up at the main faucet still. So this isn't going to stay on yet. It's not ready to go yet, but it will be probably here in the next few days. And then I'll have that single zone come on. And that's really easy to program. You just hit the zone, put in the time, and you have to set the time on it. But it's super. I didn't even have to read the instruction manual to program that one. So I'm really happy about that. But everything looks good. They all watered good. All the pipes are flowing. So now we just have to get a fourth zone added, and we're set to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I'll do an update video when I get the other zone timer in and get everything programmed. But I'm gonna have to wait for another payday before I order that. I could take the money out of my savings, but that's not what it's for. So I'll wait for another payday before I order this one, and I'll just keep watering this fourth little bed over here by hand. And that's all I got for now, folks. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.